Hello guys, so we are now in Dubai at Token2049 and here with you Anna Tutova, co-founder of Coins Telegram, and our guest Roger Ver, who is as well known as Bitcoin Jesus. He has been a Bitcoin pioneer and supporter of P2P transactions and as well freedom, which gives Bitcoin and decentralization. And recently he as well released his book, Hijacking Bitcoin. So we'll know out more now from Roger. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So can you tell us about your background? What did you do before you got into crypto, and how did you discover crypto that early?
I was born and raised in Silicon Valley, and before cryptocurrency, I was involved in e-commerce, and we were selling computer parts, specifically computer memory, to people all over the world. And every single day, we had people with stolen credit cards trying to buy my product. And so it became a real big challenge to figure out which orders were real and which ones weren't. And then when I heard about Bitcoin for the first time, I realized that my business could now accept payments from anyone, anywhere on the planet instantly, with no risk of fraud, no sort of issues like that we have with credit cards or even PayPal or other things. And so I knew instantly people were going to start using Bitcoin for payments as money on the internet. And so my first step was to buy a bunch of Bitcoin. My second step was to start investing in all the different businesses that make it easier for normal people to start using Bitcoin for payments in their daily lives. And that's why today I'm such a big proponent of anything that works for payments online, where you don't need permission from a bank or a government or anybody else at all for that matter.
And did you discover Bitcoin through any forums, or did you hear from your friends, or how was it?
Yeah, I heard about Bitcoin for the first time on a radio show called Free Talk Live. The host of that show is a man named Ian Friedman, who did an amazing job of spreading Bitcoin all over the world. And sadly today, he's in United States federal prison for running a Bitcoin ATM machine without getting the proper licensure. So it's really, really sad just how dangerous it can be to use cryptocurrency around the world. And that's why it's important for everybody that supports cryptocurrency to speak up and say, hey, we should have a fundamental right to transact with other people around the world using whatever money we want to use, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dash or old-fashioned dollars or euros or Russian rubles, whatever you want. People should have the choice to use the currency they want, and that's what's so exciting about cryptocurrencies, is giving people all over the world that choice.
Yeah, that's true, and it's really concerning that people are now in prison for the freedom of thought and trying to give other people freedom. So, in what did you see the value of Bitcoin back then?
Price was about $1 each when I bought my first Bitcoin, but there was zero doubt in my mind that people would start using it for payments and as money. And sure enough, here we are today. It's a worldwide phenomenon with thousands of different cryptocurrencies competing in the marketplace for more and more adoption around the world. And it's really exciting. Competition leads to better quality products at a better price for the consumer. And so we should all be really thankful that there's just so much innovation happening in this ecosystem.
So did you see it just more as experiment at the time, or did you see it's maybe like a future store of value? Or
Did I see what experiment?
Bitcoin is experiment or future store of value, or why did you decide to buy it? Because you told that you didn't really see that it will take off with the crypto payments.
Maybe I misspoke, but I knew that people were going to start using Bitcoin for payments. There was no doubt in my mind. I was sure of it. So that was my first step, was to buy Bitcoin. And the next step was to start investing in the businesses that would make it easier for people to start using it in payments in their daily lives.
And how do you see the evolvement of crypto payments within the years you've been for so long in the industry?
Yeah.
Where is the biggest adoption do you see for the crypto payments, in which regions?
Yeah, in the early days, Bitcoin was really taking off for payments, and then ran into some scaling issues and some governmental issues. For example, in the US, every single time you buy or sell something with Bitcoin, it's supposedly you're supposed to report it to the IRS tax authorities as a capital gains taxable event. And nobody's going to deal with that. So they really did a good job of stifling people from using digital currencies as currency without their permission. But despite all that, it's still taking off and getting more and more adoption around the world. One example of that is St. Kitts. You can pay with Bitcoin Cash just about anywhere in the entire country right now today, using your own wallet where you have your own keys. Another example is El Salvador. That is really interesting to see the Bitcoin adoption that's going on there, but it's also really terrifying because everybody's using a custodial account, not a wallet in which you don't have the Bitcoin yourself. The government can freeze your account at any time, and you don't even necessarily know if they have the Bitcoin that they promised to have on your behalf inside your wallet. So it's a really great example of showing when people have control over their own money or the government has control over their own money. And so if you want to have control of your own money, make sure you're using a wallet in which you have the private keys yourself, and you're not entrusting a government or some custodial wallet, non-wallet solution called an account, basically, to hold your money for you. If you're using someone else to hold your crypto for you, you've lost most of the benefits of cryptocurrency.
So on that side, currently we have approval of Bitcoin spot ETFs, and as well more institutional and as well retail investors invest into crypto, not directly. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good that there's more adoption, but be really, really careful, right? Owning Bitcoin in an ETF isn't the same as actually having Bitcoin in a wallet that you control. And like we've seen time and time again, sometimes people think they own an asset where there's some other custodian and poof, they didn't have the asset. And we see it over and over. Be careful with your digital currency, whether it was, Mt. Gox or FTX more recently or any of these things. Make sure you're holding your cryptocurrency yourself. That's the safest way to do it.
And do you think that these institutional investors, which are getting now into industry, may manipulate the market much more?
Clearly, and they do that time and time again with the stock market. There's some manipulation there. I'm sure we'll see. We've already seen manipulation with cryptocurrencies as well, both on centralized exchanges and probably in the traditional markets with the ETF as well. I'd be surprised if that didn't happen.
And as well, you mentioned that you invested into Monero quite early. So can you tell more about your opinion on privacy coins?
Sure. In the early days, everybody thought Bitcoin was completely private and totally anonymous. And later on, we found out that it wasn't. And around the same time, it also started having some scaling issues. And so I looked out there at other coins that had better privacy and had better scaling characteristics. And of course, Monero is one of those. That's why I bought my first Monero at around $1. And then more recently, I've been thinking, in the early days, there was only Bitcoin. Everyone thought it was private. When they figured out it wasn't, a huge amount of commerce then moved from Bitcoin to Monero. And then later on, we had Ethereum and all these other EVM chains come out, and everybody's doing tokens for everyone. But none of these tokens have any privacy. So I thought to myself, where are the privacy tokens? That seems like the next step. And so I went out there looking around to try and figure out what are the privacy token platforms out there. And basically, there's only one out there that I was able to find that has any sort of product that's ready today. And that's one called Zano, Z-A-N-O. And I'm a big fan of Zano at this point because basically it's like Monero, but for tokens. So you can make your very own Telegram token, I'm sorry. You can edit that. You can make your very own Telegram token, and it has the same sort of privacy characteristics as a Monero. And I think that's going to be a really powerful, popular thing when people can make their own tokens and have privacy with those tokens. Because anybody would rather use a private stablecoin than a public stablecoin in which everybody knows your balance and all your transaction history. Nobody likes that. So I think privacy tokens are going to become very, very popular.
Yeah, that's interesting. And as well, do you currently invest into any other altcoins?
Adult coin?
Altcoins.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have not invested in any adult coins, and I also haven't. I have dozens of different coins. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all of your cryptocurrency investment in one single coin. Have a diverse portfolio. And I've been incredibly effective at marketing Bitcoin Cash, so the world seems to know and associate me with Bitcoin Cash at this point. But I've never been a Bitcoin Cash maximalist. I've never been a Bitcoin maximalist. I've never been anything other than a peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world maximalist to promote human freedom to the maximum extent maximalist. And follow that advice. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's been true for thousands of years. It's true today.
Maybe you can share some of your holdings, or which altcoins you have?
Sure. Of course, I love Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, right? Monero, of course, Zano, of course. Like, I had Dash at one point. Like, anything that works really well for peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. And I'm sure some of the other chains that I hold will be sad that I didn't mention them there, but there's quite a few. I'd have to go and look in my various wallets to see what's there.
What do you think about meme coins?
Maybe I'm too old for meme coins. I'm 45 now. Like, some of them have gone, really, really wild, but it's not for me. Maybe that's for the younger generation.
And as well, we see now a number of different layer 1s, layer 2 solutions, and everybody claims that they're building the fastest, most scalable solutions. So what are your thoughts on that? And you mentioned you have Solana, Avalanche. Now we have as well a lot of new ones.
Yeah, I think we don't know yet, and it's still too early to tell, but you don't want to miss out, right? So, like, maybe Solana will do it, maybe Avalanche will do it, maybe, something else will do it out there. Keep an eye on things and don't put all your eggs in one basket. And this is clearly, like, the one thing I do know is that old government-issued currencies, that's a thing of the past. New free market currencies, that's the future, and that's where I want to store my wealth.
And what current trends do you see this market cycle? Like, what use case is the most exciting for you? Besides crypto payments, of course.
For me, it's always been about payments and being able to use it as peer-to-peer electronic cash, and that's still my main focus. But I think the world hasn't figured out yet, like, privacy tokens are going to be popular. We already saw it happen. Everybody wants privacy on top of Bitcoin or Ethereum or Monero or whatever else. Where are the privacy tokens? And that's why I'm pretty excited about Zano at this point as a privacy token platform.
And now we have as well some regulatory concerns regarding privacy coins. And as well, besides that, not every jurisdiction has a clear stance on the crypto regulation, especially the US. And I know you renounced your US citizenship and you as well traveling quite a lot. So how do you see the crypto adoption in different jurisdictions and as well as the regulatory regimes? Where do you see the most friendly approach from the regulators?
Yeah, I think I was ahead of the curve on my use and adoption of Bitcoin. I was also ahead of the curve on my renunciation of my US citizenship. It's been more than 10 years since I renounced my US citizenship. And now everybody's talking about it, but back then it seemed crazy. And so if you're interested in today, I'm going to recommend a website, passportsforcrypto.com. You can pay in cryptocurrency to get a new citizenship, just like that. So it's very, very useful to people all over the world. Because if one government's not treating you very well, there's a lot of other governments out there that'll treat you much better. The UAE, of course, is one of them here. I'm proud golden visa holder here in the UAE. This is a fantastic place that's extending with open arms to everybody that's involved in crypto. So go out there and go to the country or the place that treats you best, and consider the UAE as well. It's really a special place. And as we can see at the conference here, there's just so much going on here and so much adoption. And it's the exact opposite of the US, where everyone in the US is terrified they're going to be sent to jail for being involved in crypto. Whereas here, people are excited to be involved in crypto and they're not terrified.
And you as well quite a lot in Asia. So which countries do you see the most advanced in terms of crypto regulation there?
I think everybody in the media has been talking about El Salvador, but everyone's using a custodial platform, right? You don't have the crypto yourself. I think people have really underestimated the amount of adoption that's happened in places like St. Kitts or in Slovenia. In Slovenia, you can pay at thousands of places all across the country with a wallet where you control the cryptocurrency yourself. That's very, very different than in El Salvador, where everyone's using this custodial account.
And as well, in what do you see the value of decentralization?
The decentralization, I think a lot of people get confused. They think that decentralization is the goal. Decentralization is not the goal. Decentralization is the tool, and it's the tool that we use to achieve censorship resistance, where each individual can have control of their own lives and their own money and whatever it is that they want to do. And so, again, the goal isn't decentralization. The goal is, self-control over your own money, and decentralization is the tool we use to achieve that goal.
And as well, we see now different NFTs, ordinals, and etc. What's your thought on that?
I think I'm probably still the wrong generation for that. I'm 45, peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. That's what has me so excited. I'm much less excited about, Bored Apes and this sort of thing. I received one of my first, I forget the name, my lady meme somethings, and it's just not my generation. But everybody seemed to be so excited because the guy that gave it to me, I said, okay, I'll put on Twitter that I have one, and everyone was really excited. But I guess I'm a boomer in that respect.
And as for the crypto payments, do you pay for everything in crypto in real life, or do you have as well bank account and you use bank accounts?
I still have traditional bank accounts and traditional credit cards, but I try to pay for as much as I possibly can in cryptocurrency. And so everybody that works for me gets paid in cryptocurrency, and I try to pay all the bills around the world as I go in cryptocurrency, of course.
You pay in stable coins or in Bitcoin or other currencies usually?
Most recently, and for a long time, I use Bitcoin Cash the most. Probably second most would be stable coins, and third most is I've been using Zano to pay people as well recently.
And as well, how do you see the state of current markets? For how long this bull market will last?
I don't know. I feel like we're 15 years into a bull market. It's been a bull market the entire time since I got started. So there's been up and downs along the way, but it's much, much higher than it was a few years ago. And as long as it continues to be useful for people in their lives, it's going to continue to be a bull market in the long term. In the short run, there's ups and downs, but in the long run, the bull market will continue.
Do you fix your profits time from time, or do you do any pot trading, or you just hold and that's it?
All of my income is in cryptocurrency, and I do my best to spend cryptocurrency to pay for my daily expenses. So I'm not trying to time the market at all.
And as well, do you support any startups? Do you invest into any startups currently?
I've invested in more startups than I can count in the ecosystem at this point. Some of the bigger ones that you would have heard of today is things like blockchain.com, bitcoin.com. I was literally the co-founder of Ripple. People don't realize that more recently. So pretty much all the first generation businesses was my seed money to get them started.
And as well, can you tell more about your book?
Yeah, go to hijackingbitcoin.com. It's the true story of how BTC was hijacked. People don't realize it, but there's citations for every last bit. Once you've read the book, it's indisputable. Here, I even have a copy of it. Thank you. Here you go, hijackingbitcoin.com. Go and buy it today. It's available on Amazon worldwide. And a lot of people, if you're newer to Bitcoin, you will be stunned as to the dirty tricks and the shenanigans that went on to hijack BTC to make it no longer work as peer-to-peer cash for the world. And maybe you can argue that you like the new roadmap for BTC better, but you can't argue that it wasn't hijacked. So hijackingbitcoin.com.
So maybe you can share some of the insights from your book.
There's I think 200 and something pages of insights in this book, but the main one that a lot of people don't realize is that a man working for a U.S. intelligence agency openly and intentionally paid one of the Bitcoin core developers to change Bitcoin to make it less useful for payments. They implemented this thing called replace by fee. Literally, the U.S. government paying to sabotage Bitcoin, and it's cited right here in the book. You can read it for yourself. Hijackingbitcoin.com.
And as well, in your opinion, what do we need for the mass adoption of crypto?
If we really want to have mass adoption of crypto around the world, start using it. Ask your employer to pay you in cryptocurrency. Pay all your bills in cryptocurrency. If the people you're paying already don't accept cryptocurrency, ask them to start. It's so easy with businesses like GoCrypto.com or BitPay.com. Like any business can start accepting cryptocurrency right now today. So use it every chance you possibly can in your daily life, including you can buy this book with cryptocurrency as well. So use it every chance you have and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mom, tell your children, tell everybody. That's how it's going to spread to the world. And that's how it's going to make the world an even better place, even faster.
Do you see currently any challenges for both businesses and customers to make crypto payments?
Probably the biggest challenges and the biggest issues for cryptocurrency payments around the world is government regulations. And so we need government regulators to be smart. Hey, cryptocurrency is the future. The biggest challenge for cryptocurrency adoption around the world is the government regulations, right? In the US, every crypto payment is a taxable event. That's crazy. We need government regulators around the world to take an embracing approach towards cryptocurrencies. This is the future. Imagine if they tried to do the same thing with the internet. Anybody that wants to build a website needs to get a license and a permit and this and that, or that would be crazy, and it would have set back the entire internet, and we wouldn't have this wonderful tool of the internet that we have. It wouldn't be nearly as good as it is today if they had taken that approach. We need them to do the same thing with cryptocurrencies. We need them to embrace crypto and be supportive of it so that people can continue to use it all over the world without fear of going to jail, which sadly is happening in too many countries around the world at the moment.
And as well, I know that you're very passionate about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you're a champion. So do you see some analogs of fighting to be a champion and fighting in the crypto world?
I don't know about fighting in crypto and jiu-jitsu, but yeah, jiu-jitsu is a wonderful hobby and it really forces you to think outside the box. And so I think cryptocurrency, to appreciate it fully, you have to be able to think outside the box. And so if you're looking for a fun hobby, jiu-jitsu is a really fun hobby that's great for your health and when you don't get injured. So.
Great. Thank you for an exciting interview.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for the platform.